Over the last few days with the Rippaverse, we've had some huge news with the launch of Norfrica, and now the Norfrica Glorious Death single by Dan Vasc and Eric July has hit number 7 on Billboard Hard Rock Digital Song Sales. Now, that is amazing news because guess what? That shows that people love what the Rippaverse has to offer, and it shows that there's talent behind the Rippaverse. Shows that indie indie creators are the future. That you don't need these massive labels to be successful, and you don't. Like we've seen over the last few years how that is, um how that works. I mean, rich men over Richmond, um in like and like there's Tom McDonald. There's a bunch of indie creatives in the music industry, and not just in the music industry, like who are all um who don't need these big um studios or companies to just aid them, because they are doing this stuff themselves and they are doing a good job. And going back to Eric July's Glorious Death song with Dan Vasc, they both killed it in that song. It was so good, and it deserves to be successful like this. It deserves it more than anything. And like it's like, if you haven't heard the song, I recommend listening to it. It's so worth listening to, because and like I'm not the biggest rock or metal fan. I'm not the most knowledgeable on this stuff. I'm not. But this is such a good song, and I know like I have heard rock and metal music before. I mean, I've listened like, old school Metallica and all that, and stuff like that, and I get like, oh wow, you say Metallica. It's like I'm not gonna sit here and try to name off songs and all that, because, well, I mean, Enter Sandman is like their most popular one. Took me a fucking second to remember that one. As Was it War Pig or War Dog? Um, anyway, there's a bunch of good music uh from indie creatives, and this might be linked to the Rippaverse, but overall, Glorious Death is such a good song, and I recommend people give it a listen. If you can, buy it. And I already pre-ordered the vinyl, because I want to support the Rippaverse, and I'm always going to. I have no issue with supporting Rippaverse, and this just gives me more reason to support them, because stuff like this level of success is great for not only the Rippaverse, but for indie devs, indie writers, indie creatives overall. You do not need these big companies and studios to come and help you or take over your project for you, because they almost always don't have the best interest in heart, for you or your project that you're working on. Now, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to stop you, but I highly recommend we start pursuing indie creatives, because they are the future. I'm going to continue to reiterate that over and over again, and I'm always going to try to shout out and find people who are indie devs, because I think they deserve recognition. They deserve popularity. They deserve success and all that, if their product that they're promising is worthwhile, and they follow through on delivery and all that stuff. Now, not everyone who claims to be an indie does that stuff, but that's beside the point. There are still people out there who have talent, who just need a spotlight. You can find them. It might take a while, and like that, like I say, that's my goal, to start finding these people, because these people deserve to be recognized for their talent and all that. Because there are stories that are being told are just going under the radar because of all this stuff, all because of all of Hollywood, because of the big the music industry, the gaming industry, dude. Dude, there's so much stuff that's like hiding these great indie games, and like indie games, indie books, indie movies, and just stuff like that. There's so much creativity out there. It's not all in the music industry, in the main music industry, or in the film industry, or in the game industry. There are indie creatives out there who just need a spotlight, even one share, or one review, or something, or just something like that, um could mean the world to these devs, these creatives. And I get, I'm reemphasizing this. The, the Rippaverse is what can happen if you have a product that people like love, and that they can that is brought to the spotlight. Now, I will say this: Eric July had a benefit of being a big content creator and all that, but not everyone gets that opportunity. And I think I like I said, I'm gonna start trying to find content, like not just content creators, but just creatives overall, just to shout out something, and someone recommended I look into the, what is it, the is it Megaverse image, something that's like it's own like superhero universe in Image Comics and all that. And I've been looking into that, and I'm curious about it. I am genuinely curious about it. I don't know anything about it, so I'm doing research into that. And uh and I'm kind of just kind of go on a tangent, because like I'm just saying indie creatives are just the future of storytelling overall. And the Rippaverse is proof of that people are that people just want good stuff. Don't want to be pandered to. They don't want to be condemned while reading a book, or watching a movie, or playing a video game. They don't want to feel like it's grueling task to just enjoy something nowadays, because whatever reason there is. Anyway, that's all I got. Shout out to the Rippaverse. Congrats on reaching number 7 on the billboard. It was well deserved. Anyway, peace out. That's all I got. See you guys in the next video.